This video will cover the top 12 recruitment consultant interview questions and answers, and cover how to get a job as a recruiter so you can pass a recruitment consultant interview quickly and easily. If you're looking for other recruitment jobs like recruitment coordinator or internal recruiter, you can check out this Jobs in Recruitment and HR playlist, which I'll link in the description below this video. So this video is for you if you're trying to find out how to become a recruitment consultant, or if you're experienced and you just want your next role to pay a little bit more dosh, so you want to know how to position yourself in the right way to earn a higher salary. I'm Amri Celeste, an interview coach and HR recruitment specialist with over 11 years of hiring experience. I cover tough interview questions and answers on this channel. If you haven't, do like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so that you never miss a video. So question 1 is, what's your understanding of the job or of what a recruitment consultant does? So first and foremost, a recruitment consultant's job is a sales job, also known as an agency recruiter. It's very different to an in-house recruiter, internal recruiter, or talent acquisition role. It is a sales position. And as a recruitment consultant, you would be working for a recruitment agency and selling the recruitment agency services to companies. So you'd be offering to find candidates for the open jobs within that company or client if they became a customer, and you would be referring to them as your client. That's the service that recruitment agencies offer. There are exceptions to this. Some recruitment consultants only focus on delivery, which means that there are no sales, but this video is covering the most common types of recruitment consultant roles with the most traditional duties. So once a company becomes a client of the agency you work for, you would then try to find candidates to fill their roles or open jobs through a variety of methods like online searching, headhunting on LinkedIn, and advertising roles on job boards, and contacting the candidates who apply. Then you're selling that job to candidates so that they're interested and engaged. And sometimes you're then selling those candidates to the client if they're unsure or they have doubts. Sounds like a lot of selling, but if you're trained to do it correctly, then it doesn't always feel like selling, particularly if you're able to build strong relationships with your clients. Then it becomes more of a partnership and they see you as a partner to the business who adds value, and then they begin to rely on you in order to fill their roles and find good staff. And once you fill the role and find a candidate for that job, you then earn a commission, which varies wildly depending on the commission structure of the agency you work for. So you can do a bit of digging on typical recruitment consultant salaries and commissions online. So here's how you can answer this question. My understanding of a recruitment consultant's role is that they offer a recruitment service to clients and go out and find high quality candidates for their clients. Then they manage those clients and candidates all the way through the recruitment process to offer stage. Some of the most common duties are new business development. This is often referred to as new business, BD, or business development, which is basically cold contacting businesses to gain new clients and new business, most commonly through cold calling, but nowadays LinkedIn and email has gained popularity. Sourcing, this is searching for candidates using a variety of methods, including online searches on job boards, searching databases, also known as database mining, market mapping. If you don't know what this is, I highly recommend you look it up before your interview because it's becoming more and more of a popular requirement for recruiters. Headhunting, so once you've sourced or found candidates, you're cold contacting them, normally through LinkedIn, depending on the industry. Candidate registration, or registering new candidates. This is signing up new candidates to that agency's list, sometimes called a candidate pool or candidate database. Managing client queries and concerns. This could be clients chasing up for more information, asking for more candidates, more CVs, questions on current candidates, interview feedback. This can also include visiting clients at their offices in person and managing candidates. This could be coaching candidates for job interviews and on client processes, tailoring CVs a little, registering candidates and responding to emails, and sharing client feedback. You would generally be targeted on these activities, and by that I mean you'll normally need to conduct a certain amount of these activities each week, and you'll need to meet a certain number in order to be performing well in the job. So you may need to register 6 new candidates per week, for example, cold call 50 new companies, or 200 or 300 companies in some agencies, and so on. And this would depend on the industry, the sector, your specialism, and a number of other things. If you want to know the difference between agency and internal recruitment, you can check out my internal recruiter interview questions and answers video, where I give a detailed breakdown of the difference between agency and in-house and RPO. It's a really important difference if you're looking at how to get into recruitment, because they're all very different recruitment environments. So I'll link that video in the description. But briefly, internal recruitment roles are based in HR. They're essentially human resources positions, even though it is a separate sub-function, and the duties are very, very different to any other human resources generalist work. Now, I cover the difference between recruitment and HR with a breakdown of functions in my HR coordinator interview questions and answers video, and I'll also link that video in the description section below. So let's get back into the recruitment interview questions and answers so you can pass your job interview. So question 2 is, why do you want to work as a recruitment consultant? An example answer is, I enjoy jobs that give me an aspect of control over my earnings. With recruitment, it's like your own little business. You go out and get clients, and then you offer a service and support those clients all the way through the recruitment process while building a relationship to become a trusted partner. That really appeals to me as someone who's quite ambitious and eager to make a difference. I love the idea of being able to earn more while I connect with people. And I think one of the most rewarding parts is that I get to play a hand in helping great candidates find their career path. So this is a really straightforward answer, and it plays into something that most managers or branch managers will be looking for. They often appreciate candidates with an entrepreneurial spirit, and the reason is that recruitment agencies cannot stay afloat if they don't earn enough money. So they like to hire consultants that are money motivated. There does need to be a balance so that you don't frighten off clients and tarnish the reputation of the business. But generally speaking, candidates that treat their job like their own little business tend to care more, they tend to take accountability more, and they also tend to care about the quality of their work and the results. So they're naturally pushed to focus on revenue. So that answer envelopes all of those traits. If you're getting value from this so far, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Immensely helpful for helping this video show up for more people on YouTube. And there are other ways that you can support the channel in the description box below this video. Question 3 is, have you worked to recruitment KPIs? So I explained KPIs, I think it was in my recruitment coordinator interview questions and answers video, and I shared the embarrassing story maybe 14, 15 years ago where I sat in an interview. This was before I went into internal recruitment. I wanted to work in a recruitment agency, and the manager asked me if I knew what recruitment KPIs are, and I said no. And then they asked me if I knew what an ATS recruitment system was, and I was like, no, and I knew at that point I wasn't going to get hired. So I'm going to cover KPIs here. For ATS, I highly recommend you watch that recruitment coordinator video, because ATSs are unlikely to be covered as extensively in a recruitment consultant interview as they would in an internal recruiter or coordinator interview, just due to the duties and the focus of the role. So I highly recommend the coordinator video for a full breakdown and recommendation of ATS systems. But KPIs are key performance indicators. That's what KPI stands for, and they are indicators of your performance in key areas such as how long it takes you to hire for a role, the ratio of candidates that you put forward to how many ultimately get hired, as well as those activities I mentioned before, like cold calling, number of candidates registered per week, roles filled, and the revenue you've made for the agency. So those activities are tracked. Sounds a bit scary, but it's totally normal, part of the job, and you always will get full training. If you haven't had any experience with KPIs, then you can answer this question by talking about any target, goal, or deadline that you've worked towards to show that you understand how to deliver or perform well under pressure and work to the parameters you've been set and surpass them. So for example, if you've worked in complaints, customer service, call center, it's actually most roles because most of us have worked to deadlines before, then you can also share any awards that you might have won for performance and any areas where you've overachieved. Question 4 is, give an example of a time when you exceeded your targets. Now, whether or not you've worked to targets before, share an example where you met a target or a deadline earlier than the required date, or delivered better or faster than other colleagues, or simply delivered something that was high quality. So you might have gone above and beyond by doing more than what was asked of you. A few examples are things like, I expanded a company's client base by 30%. I resolved 25% more complaints than my team and received an award for Best Complaints Handler. I grew the pipeline for my business area from 150 contacts to 1,500 in 3 months. I increased staff retention by 10% over 3 years by introducing a referral scheme where colleagues could refer friends and family to work for the company. One of the key things with these answers is that they all include numbers, they all include specifics, and including specifics adds authenticity to your answer, but of course use something that actually occurred for you so that you can explain the situation. These are just examples. And whatever example you use, make sure that you use the STAR method in answering this type of question. So what it means is that you're putting your answer into a very short story that includes a situation that occurred, the task that was created for you out of that situation, what happened, the actions you took, and the ultimate result. And that's what STAR stands for: situation, task, action, result. So if you want an example of the STAR method in a full example answer, you can check out this video for some STAR method example answers. I'll link that in the description below. Question 5 is tell me about your relevant experience. Now, when you're answering this question, I highly recommend you only talk about experience that involves high interaction with others, because that's what the question's asking, right? It's your relevant experience, not a full backstory of your career, including all the irrelevant bits that you're proud of, but the interviewer isn't particularly interested in or isn't asking about. So sales, customer service, office-based roles like reception, call center, retail, any job that involves dealing with a variety of different colleagues or customers or people in general. Talk about any role where you had to actively build relationships, where you had to negotiate or persuade others, or where you needed sharp listening skills to pick up on important instructions. Could be a manual role, could be a PA. This is key because as an agency recruiter, if you can't listen closely to your client's requirements, you will eventually lose that client. So listening skills are also key. Question 6 is what are your top 3 key skills? Key skills that are brilliant for recruitment consultant jobs are things like resilience and drive. You will get a lot of rejection. It comes as standard in any sales job, but far from it being a negative, I think it's a fantastic skill because once you've built up a thick skin against rejection, it carries through to every area of life. So if you just imagine some of the things you could have done if you were not afraid of rejection, it's really a life-changing skill that can take you much further than the competition. So having resilience and the drive to keep going through rejection is absolutely key. Proactivity is key. So if you wait for clients to come to you, you will likely struggle unless you're in a recruitment industry where you don't need to actively sell. At a basic level, a great telephone manner and the ability to interact well with others. If you can articulate yourself well, that helps. But I know a lot of consultants that don't consider themselves articulate and they are very successful. Listening skills is also key. I covered why in the answer to question 5. So if you haven't seen that, just go back and watch because you can use that to also answer part of this question. So any combination of these or similar skills like persuasiveness, competitiveness, determination, confidence, natural motivation are all really relevant skills for recruitment consultant. Now, if you struggle with interview questions and answers, you can download this guide I put together. It's totally free and covers the top 20 tough interview questions and answers like why should we give you the job? How do you handle pressure at work? And a number of other questions. You can grab that for free in the description below this video. Question 7 is what's the most important thing to a recruitment consultant? Lots of key things and ways you can answer this. So somewhere near the top of this list would be your client. They essentially pay your salary and commission either directly or indirectly. So you need to understand what client service really entails. You can include that in your answer. For example, the client would be at the top of my list because they provide the business that keeps me going as a consultant. Your answer should also link to money, earnings, commission, billings. The reason for this is if you're running a business and revenue producing activities aren't at the forefront, you simply won't last as an agency. So recruitment agencies tend to hire people who understand this on some level. I've seen a lot of lovely consultants start agencies, then close them very quickly for a variety of reasons. They try to do too much, are uncomfortable about chasing money, payments, invoices, and many other reasons as well. So the person interviewing you needs to know that you understand the importance of generating revenue and the impact that it has on the overall agency. And you're not afraid to ask for a sale or ask for the business from a client. Now, there are some agencies that champion a consultative selling approach more so than a hard sell, but their consultative approach is sometimes to build trust so that they can solidify their relationship with a client and earn a steady income. I'm not saying that they don't like their clients or this is the only reason that they build trust, but it helps. So you can also include consultative selling in your answer as something that's important. What that phrase consultative selling means is that instead of forcing your business onto a client, you will focus on the slow burn of building up business over time. It means that you'll consult with your client as opposed to actively selling to them at every opportunity, and you'll add value where possible with other services, which I'll cover in another video. Is it slightly off topic here? But consultative selling is advising and gentle persuasion as opposed to constantly pushing. Question 8 is, what are the biggest challenges affecting the recruitment industry right now? There are so many changes that have affected the recruitment industry over the last 3 to 5 years. The Great Resignation has changed how consultants need to interact with their clients. So the Great Resignation was a period of time after the pandemic when lockdown ended and people felt more comfortable leaving their jobs, resulting in millions of people leaving their jobs and a lot of movement on the recruitment market. It's essentially affected the way that clients interact with internal recruiters and recruitment consultants. So clients now want more from agencies. They'll often ask for market intelligence, diversity in every shortlist of candidates. They'll ask for things like market mapping. Do look that up. But these are extra services, whereas once upon a time years ago, they would just like, fill this role, find me a candidate, and that was it. So the Great Resignation means that candidates are asking for more. They want more flexible working. They want more money, higher salaries, quicker promotions, and management responsibility. So as a recruitment consultant, there's an element of coaching your clients about the current state of the market. The employer still has the power, but not in the same way that they used to. And candidates are more demanding. So some companies still have a traditional mindset, so they're asking for the world from candidates and then wondering why they can't find the right people and they can't fill their roles, and you as a consultant would need to find a diplomatic way of explaining to them that the market has changed. So there is an element of coaching there, and there's also an element of coaching the candidate so that they understand what employers are asking for. Another consistent change is the desire for diversity and representation, particularly with ethnicity and gender, but also addressing ageism. Workers over 40 tend to be hired less, so there's a focus on that as well. Candidates with disabilities, working mums, etc. More employers are asking for this, which means that consultants need to find ways to attract candidates from varying backgrounds and advertise roles in a way that is open and inclusive and attractive to a wider variety of candidates. Question 9 is, what do you think is key to a successful career in recruitment? So an example answer to this is, I think you need to be mentally prepared for the ups and downs. You need to have a very thick skin to deal with the inevitable rejection you'll deal with. But I also think that you need to be able to celebrate your wins and look at what's working well and double down on that to get consistent results in future. And most importantly, I think you need to have a focus on the client, the key decision makers, and ultimately your commission to find a way to consistently meet your targets. This is why I targeted a career in recruitment. I consider myself to be a strong rapport builder. I enjoy utilizing my negotiation skills, and I'm used to dealing with rejection from my career in X industry. And I think these are the things you need. These are the keys to building a successful career in recruitment. Question 10 is, what are your career goals? An example answer to this is, my goal is to build a career in recruitment over time. I enjoy jobs that give me an aspect of control over my earnings. With recruitment, it's like your own little business. You go out and get clients, then you offer a service and support those clients all the way through the recruiting process while building a relationship. And that's why I want to build a career in recruitment. I want to grow that career and look at being a senior level consultant, developing my own region or team, and earning really healthy commission that builds over time. That would be my career goal. So the next question is a situational interview question. So if you struggle with these, then you can check out this video where I cover the top 10 situational interview questions and answers. So the question is, you're in a situation where you come out of a meeting and receive 2 messages. One is from a candidate and one is from a client who both request an urgent callback. Which one do you call back first? So for any of you that guessed the client, you would be correct. You've obviously been paying close attention to the previous answers, but you may sometimes get questions in this kind of situational scenarios format. So don't get caught out and practice answers to situational questions as well. Question 12 is, how would you sell a high potential candidate to a client who has doubts? This is a bit of a tough interview question, but it's an opportunity to show that you can use softer selling as well as directly addressing the issue. So first thing you would do is find out what the client's doubts are. Listening is critical, as you can't sell if you don't know what the other person wants. So ask open-ended questions to find out what those doubts are, like what would have made this candidate perfect for you? Where do you see this person on your team long term? How do you see their career progressing? So then you have the client thinking forward, imagining and visualizing their ideal candidate, their ideal team. Then based on that and only what the client says they want, you sell the candidate's potential in on those key areas and match them to key skill sets you already know that are in the role. Talk about their character and how they fit into the team, if their character does fit into the team. Remember, if this candidate is high potential, they will have a plethora of areas that could benefit the manager role and the department long term. So an example answer is, based on what you're saying, I completely understand that you would have doubts about Greg for your marketing exec role. That's just an example name there. So you mentioned from the beginning that he doesn't have as much experience as some of the other candidates, and I can understand why this would be a concern. I think there are a few key points that I've noticed that I'd like to highlight. So you mentioned that you plan to look at new marketing strategies later that year to link into modern media. So you want to upskill your team. Greg has a fresh perspective on social media marketing as he manages various social media channels in his spare time, and that's been the focus of his studies. So the time and the cost of training and upskilling your team could potentially be eliminated if Greg could bring in his ideas. And this is something that he's passionate about in his spare time, not just something he plans to do for a day job. So he's essentially already self-developing in those areas of concern that you have, but he's also very, very excited about this role. I know that someone with high energy and enthusiasm was really important to you, and he's demonstrated that all the way through the process so far. He's pretty much fired up and ready to start, so he has super high potential. So the strength with this example answer is it's regularly referencing here where the manager has shared what they're looking for previously and directly addresses the points the manager's spoken about. It talks about what Greg could bring, how he could alleviate the manager's workload as well as his personality, all things that are important to the manager. If you're ever in this situation, you would just utilize information from previous discussions to sell in the candidate. So let me know if you found this helpful in the comments, like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video.